Hi, I'm Dr. Ivan Meisner, founder of BNI. Welcome to our video series on the BNI traditions. This is part 3 of the BNI traditions video series. Now I'm going to talk about education and training. Education is core to the success of BNI. We developed our training content over time. You see, training is a leaky bucket process. You put information in and some of it leaks out. I learned this the hard way when I started doing leadership team trainings in the very beginning of the organization. What I did was that I would train the leadership team, and I taught them to train the next leadership team, and that leadership team would then train the next leadership team. What I didn't understand at the time was this concept of the leaky bucket theory of education. So I trained a leadership team, and some of the information leaked out. And they trained another leadership team, and some of the information leaked out. And so by the time we were on our second or third generation of leadership teams, we had a half a bucket of information. Now, you know what happens when you have a half a bucket of information? People start putting their own stuff in. And that's what happened to us. They started making things up. And I would go to meetings and I wouldn't even recognize BNI. I showed up at a chapter, and the only way I knew I was at a BNI meeting was that they were wearing BNI badges and they kept calling me the founder. Other than that, I would have had no idea that it was a BNI meeting because they didn't run the structure of our program. We must work with members at the local level, at the chapter level, to immerse and engage in a culture of learning. BNI spends hundreds of thousands of person hours a year on leadership team training alone. Here's the formula. Take the number of chapters that BNI has at this time. You can find that out by going to your local website or to bni.com and finding out the total number of chapters. Take that number and multiply it by the number of leadership team members in a chapter, which is 3. So take the number of chapters, total number of chapters, and multiply it by 3. Then take the average number of hours for leadership team training. Around the world, the average is about 4.5. In some areas it's 5, in some areas it's 4, but on average it's about 4.5. So you take the number of chapters times 3 leadership team people times 4.5 hours times 2, because we do the training twice a year. If you do that formula, you will find that BNI spends hundreds of thousands of person hours a year in leadership team training alone. Training is so important. It's critical to the success of any BNI group. Now that formula applies just to the leadership team training and the people who generally go to leadership team training, but think about it. Many other people often go to leadership team training. Sometimes the visitor host or membership committees, education coordinators might go. We also do special trainings in BNI for visitor hosts and membership committees, education coordinators. And don't forget directors training. That's several days long. If you add all of this up, and then you add education coordinator training and MSP training, member success program training, this organization spends hundreds of thousands of person hours a year on training. No one dedicates the amount of training that BNI does. No networking organization in the world trains members more and more effectively than this organization. If you can get members to immerse and engage in a culture of learning, you will have much more successful chapters. We have podcasts, we have newsletters, we have blogs. Talk to your director. BNI offers thousands and thousands of pages of material that are available online and in person. I met an education coordinator recently who shared an amazing story with me. He said he went to his chapter the very first week as the education coordinator, and he stood up and he said, "I'm really excited about doing this every week, but I want to ask you a question." This is what he said to the members. "I want to ask you a question. would you like me to do every week during my presentation, the education for that week, would you like me to do a lecture, or would you like to have a dialogue on the topics that we'll be discussing? And everyone looked at him and was like, well, yeah, we'd rather have a dialogue. We don't want a lecture. And he looked at him and he said, great, I was hoping that you'd say that. Okay, so in order for us to have a dialogue, you have to do the reading. So I'm going to assign reading every week, or I'll assign recorded material to listen to every week. And those of you who listen to the material or read the material, you get to participate in the dialogue. If you don't listen to it or read the material, well, you got to listen. You can't participate. You have to listen to what we're talking about. I thought that was an incredible concept. Talk about immersing a chapter in the education. The more we can do that, the more we can get members participating in the educational process, the more successful we will be as an organization. Education is key to the success of a BNI group. Benjamin Franklin once said, if you empty your purse into your head, you're investing in something that no one can ever take from you. You're investing in your education. You're investing in knowledge. There is so much material that we have, and you don't have to empty your purse into your head with BNI. Much of what we have is free. It's available to you at no charge. Make use of this. Immerse and engage in a culture of learning. It is one of the core traditions of the success of this organization. This is Dr. Ivan Meisner, founder of BNI. Thanks for watching.